Okay.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to lecture series of Global Development Agenda and Thailand Challenges series. My name is Yasushi Negishi, lecturer at the Puey Ungphakorn School of Development Studies, Thammasat University. Let me briefly introduce myself. I spent many years working in the international development banks and also Japanese governmental banks, where I was involved with providing loans to developing countries in Asia and many other parts of the world. And I also worked for the World Bank and Asian Development Bank, where I have many opportunities to provide other financing such as equity investment and so on. So I would like to share my experience as much as possible with students at Thammasat University, so that we can discuss more on the development issues. With that, let me start my today's presentations. Under this lecture series, I am going to talk about global development agenda and Thailand's challenges with 5 presentations. And these are the 5 presentations that I am going to deliver this series, under the series. And as I explained in the first presentations, I prepared these lectures for those who are interested in learning on global development agenda at the introductory level. And I hope this presentation would help learners to familiarize themselves to the key global development issues. And today I am going to talk on the poverty and inequality as the second topic in the series. As I concluded in my first presentation, poverty reduction and reducing inequality are the two key development agenda, as well as sustainability issues. As for today's presentation, there are 3 sections. We start with the defining of poverty and its measurement. And then we will learn about causes and consequences of inequality. And then we learn about strategic framework for poverty alleviation and reducing inequality by comparison. We will also learn Thailand's challenges and policies on poverty alleviation and reducing inequality. Let's start with section 1, understanding poverty and its measurement. Let me start watching UN YouTube video on poverty. This is a very short video, and I hope you can understand the nature of this important issue.
You can share screen.
Yeah, I have to, let me share the YouTube. Okay.
Your dignity is tied to every other human being on Earth. When millions of us struggle to survive, human energy is diminished. When so many of us are still hungry, human potential is suffocated. Poverty has many forms, but no borders. To become fully human, we must free ourselves from the tyranny of poverty and from the grip of hunger everywhere. As we end poverty, true prosperity begins. As we end hunger, we all start to flourish. We have the ability, means, and capacity to create a world where all humans have dignity and our potential is fully realized. This is the story you are shaping.
Okay, that's a very short video compiled by United Nations under the SDG program. Let me go back to my presentation.
You can stop
Uh,
YouTube and share new.
okay. Let me stop. Yeah, I can't go back to Zoom share. Okay. Stop share. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I just copy the narration of the video here, and which has a very good message. And according to the video, human energy is diminished when we struggle with poverty, and also human potential is suffocated, diminished when we have hunger. And in order to become a real human, we must free ourselves from the tyranny of poverty and also from the grip of hunger. And I think the last sentence is very encouraging because it says that we have the ability, means, capacity to create a world where all humans have dignity and our potential is fully realized. So with this sentence, I think we are very encouraged, and we are encouraged to fight this major development agenda. Okay, then with that introduction, let me ask you this introductory question. First question is, what does poverty mean to you? And what are some basic needs that everyone should be able to afford? And how do you think poverty can affect individuals and communities? So this is how to define poverty itself. The next question is, why is it important for us to have a way to measure poverty? How might this help in addressing the issue? The second question is with regard to measuring poverty. Let me answer this question one by one. On the first one, defining poverty. Poverty is when people do not have enough money or resources to meet their basic needs for a decent life. So this means it is not just about being poor in money. It is also about not having things like proper food, clean water, safe place to live, and good health care, and a chance to go to school. So therefore, when we talk about poverty, we are not only looking at how much money someone has, but also whether we can live in a healthy and dignified life. This is a definition of poverty. Let us further clarify the meaning of basic needs and quality of life, as these are the two keywords when we discuss poverty issues often. Basic needs are the things that everyone should have to live well, like nutritious food, clean water, a safe, comfortable home, and access to healthcare and education. This illustration, pregnant lady is thinking about basic needs, such as diapers, stroller, baby clothes, and milk bottle. I think these are the basic needs for a baby. However, having a good quality of life, another word, means more than just having these basics. It is about feeling safe, being able to join your community, having time for fun and relaxation, and being healthy and happy. So quality of life is about all the things that make life enjoyable and meaningful. So for this illustration, baby needs not only these basic needs, but also baby needs parents to take care of. Baby needs a very warm atmosphere where he or she can grow safely. So that's the meaning of the good quality of life. The third question is how poverty affects individuals and communities. When someone is poverty, it affects them in many ways. They may not have enough to eat or may not be able to go to school. Then, which can make them sick or limit their opportunities in life. Poverty can also make people feel stressed and worried. So that's what poverty affects at individual level. Then what about at community level? High poverty can lead to fewer job opportunities. As you can imagine, if such community has a security concern, private business people are not try to avoid such places to build their offices and factories. Then apparently the people in the community have less chance to work in such business opportunity. And also, if we have a security concern from the poverty and so on, then at school level, teachers may not be able to teach students in a safe, secured environment. Then quality of school may be deteriorated. And also, in such community, we may have more problems such as crime and safety issues. So poverty does not just hurt one person. It can make life harder for a whole group of people in a community. So this is why it's important to understand poverty and work together to make things better. Next issue is measuring poverty. Why we need to measure poverty? Imagine you have a problem with your car. Before you can fix it, you need to know exactly what is wrong. So measuring poverty is like that. We'd like to understand how many people are struggling with not having enough money or resources to live well. It helps us see the size of the problem and who is affected and where they live. When we measure poverty, we can create better solutions to help those people. There are two kinds of approaches to measure poverty. First one is income-based measurement. This is like looking at how much money people have. And we pick up a certain amount of money. And if someone's income is below that, we say they are in poverty. However, as you can imagine, it does not always show the full picture. People might have enough money, but they could still lack things like good health and education. Second approach is multi-dimensional. This is a way more like looking at the puzzle with many pieces. Instead of money, we check different things that are important for good life, like having enough to eat, clean water, safe place to live, and access to education and healthcare. This approach gives us a better understanding of how people are living. As for the measurement, there is an importance of accurate measurement in addressing the issue. When we measure it correctly, we can make sure that the help we provide goes to the right persons. Accurate measurement helps us target our efforts and resources effectively. Therefore, we can improve people's lives in the best possible way. We can also assess the outcome of our support correctly by comparing the data before the support and after the support. So correct measurement is very important for providing support and assessing the actual situation. As I explained in my first presentation, during the past several decades, international community has started focusing on poverty issues starting in 1990s. So under the human development approach. So international community has been spending during the past 30 years to improve this, to tackle this agenda. And this is the income approach to measure poverty situation during the past 30 years. This is a poverty ratio at $2.50 a day percent population. And this is $2.50 is borderline. So those people under this income level is considered the people in poverty. And according to the World Bank statistics, the world poverty ratio in purple line, which was 38% in year 1990s, gradually decreased during the past 30 years, up to 8.5% in year 2021. So we were able to see the significant reduction of the poverty during the past 30 years. This is largely due to the high economic growth and improvement of the poverty situation, both in China and India. As for China, both countries does not have the annual data on this, but in case of China, in year 1990, China's poverty ratio was over 70%, 72% in 1990, and currently this number is very close to zero. Same for India. India's the past data started 1993, which was around 47%, and currently this decreased up to around 10%. So these two countries, both are highly populated countries, were able to reduce poverty ratio during the past 30 years, and which contributed reducing the world poverty ratios. But if you look at the sub-Sahara Africa poverty ratio, it still remains, well, it has been successful reducing gradually, but the current poverty ratio is mid 30%. So this reduction, pace of the reduction was still slow in sub-Saharan Africa compared with those of China and India. And we have Thailand's number here. Sorry, it's not so clear, but this according to this poverty line, Thailand's poverty ratio in 1990 was around 12%, and currently, which is very close to zero. So again, Thailand also has been successful reducing poverty ratio. But each country has each government set its national poverty lines, considering the purchasing power of their currency and so on. And yeah, as you can imagine, that applying this, same amount, $2.15 to all the country may not be realistic. So in order to adjust this issue, each country has its own national poverty borderlines. And in the case of Thailand, this amount is $2.90, 93 bahts per day. This number was set by Thai government in 2021. And according to this borderline, Thailand still has 6.3% of poverty ratio in year 2021. But as you can see from this graph, Thailand has also been very successful reducing poverty ratio. This graph, by the way, starts from year 2000, so indicate the activities situation during the past 20 years. Thailand has been able to reduce poverty ratio, national poverty ratios dramatically during the past 20 years. And in order to manage or reduce poverty, Thai governments has been trying to use social programs such as adjusting the minimum wage and also try to provide debt relief for the poor households. For instance, currently, during the past few years, inflation is a major economic issue in Thailand. And if we have a higher inflation, with this amount of money of the poor people, if we have an inflation, people becomes more difficulty. And in order to balance such price increase, we need a wage increase. So a minimum wage system is a very effective way to fight the poverty issues. And also, those poor families tend to borrow money a lot from financial institutions. And when inflation is high, Bank of Thailand try to maintain interest rate higher. Then those households borrow from financial institutions have to pay more interest payment to the financial institutions. So governments need to sometimes need to provide, for instance, debt relief for those poor households in order to sustain their household economies. So these are the typical example how government try to support or improve poverty ratios and poverty households in the country. Okay, let me move on to next section, which is causes and consequences of inequality. Here, I have 3 questions, introductory questions to you. First is, what is inequality? Why do we work on reducing inequality? This is how to define inequality. Second question is, what are some factors that lead to unequal opportunities for different people in society? So this is a question regarding causes of inequality. The third question is, how do you think inequality can impact a community's overall well-being and social harmony? The third question is with regard to consequences of inequality. According to a dictionary, inequality is like an uneven distribution of something, where some people or groups have more weight and while others have less. This is a simple definition of equality. And inequality is often used to talk about the differences in opportunities, resources, and outcomes between individuals and communities. So in simpler terms, it is when not everyone gets the same chances, benefits, or rewards in a fair, just way. That's things that we use inequality often. And thirdly, inequality can relate to various aspects of life, such as income, education, healthcare, and even basic human rights. Therefore, addressing it is essential for creating more equitable, balanced society where everyone has the opportunity to achieve better life. Next, we want to talk about the factors lead to unequal opportunities. On economic front, these are about money and jobs. Some jobs pay more than others, and some families have more money than others. If you are born into a family with less money, it might be harder to get a good education or access to healthcare, making it tougher to succeed. This is economic factors. Second is social factors. Think of these as the class factors as well. They include things like where you were born, your family, and your community. Some people are born into families and areas with more resources and opportunities, while others have less. This can create unfair starting points in life. This is social factors. And the third is historical factors. Sometimes things that happened in the past still affect us today. For example, in the past, some groups of people were treated unfairly because of their race, gender, and background. Even though things have improved, the effect of that unfair treatment can still be seen today in the form of inequality. Those are the historical factors. The fourth is systemic factors. These are like the rules and structures in society. Sometimes the rules can favor certain groups of people while making it harder for others. For instance, if the rules at a job make it tough for women to advance, that is a systemic issue that can keep inequality going. So these are the systemic factors. Let me explain the consequences of inequality. First, items impacts on health, education, and overall well-being. As for health, unequal access to healthcare means that some people might not get the medical treatment they need when they are sick. Then this can make them sicker and affect their overall health. The second is education. Inequality in education can mean some students get a better education with great teachers and resources, while others do not have. This can affect their ability to learn and succeed in the future. The third is overall well-being. When people face inequality, they often experience stress and worry about their future. This stress can take a toll on their mental and emotional well-being. Second aspect is social tension and potential for unrest. Social tensions. Think of social tensions like disagreements or conflicts between different groups of people in society. And when there is a lot of inequality, some people might feel left out and treated unfairly. This can create tension between different groups, leading to arguments or even divisions in society. The next one is potential for unrest. Sometimes when people feel like they are not being treated fairly, they may protest and even become angry and frustrated. this can lead to social unrest, like protests and demonstrations, where people demand change. So these are the 5 things that which may arise, come out because of the inequality in society. Okay. This is a picture from the Forbes magazine. This magazine annually update the richest people in the world. And I think you can find some familiar face like Elon Musk. And also he's a CEO of Tesla and SpaceX and Twitter. And also we can see famous American singer Taylor Swift. And in the center, I'm not really sure whether they, you know, this gentleman. He's a CEO of Louis Vuitton, French fashion industry. And left-hand side, we see the famous face of Mark Zuckerberg. He's a CEO of Facebook. And the left-hand side, I think he's a former US professional basketball player, Michael Jordan. And we also see on the right-hand side, Indian gentleman. He is a CEO of Reliance Group, a very rich person in Asia, number 1 richest person in Asia. And we also, this lady is an American business lady who have company produce computer chips. And these people are very, very wealthy. And if you are interested in, please check this link. You can see many other rankings. And yeah, for instance, the CEO of Louis Vuitton, he's number 1 richest top 1 person in the world. His asset size is like 250 billion US dollars, which is half of the Thailand GDP. So yeah, you can see that you know, there are excessively rich person in this world. This slide is so-called global wealth distribution. This is a report produced by the Swiss banks called Credit Suisse Bank. And how to read, I can explain how to read this graph. So this is the world global wealth, deposit money, and also real estate assets and so on. And this graph starts at the bottom. These are the people asset whose deposit and the real estate asset, total asset is below 10,000 US dollars. And which consists about 1.3% of the global asset. And how many people have this 1.3% of global asset? Surprisingly, 55% of the global population have only 1.3% of the global total assets. On the contrary, this is the box which indicate the global assets whose deposit or total asset is over 1 million US dollar. And this asset is owned by only 1% of the total population. So we can understand how concentrated only a very limited number of population have this huge global asset. So that's the situation that we are facing in today's society. And that's the reason why we need to tackle this inequality issues going forward. We have been tackling this issue, but we still need to tackle issue so that now we will have a balanced, fair society. This is a technical thing, but in order to measure inequality, income inequality, we have the statistics called Gini coefficient. And let me explain simply. So income inequality is calculated by Gini coefficient, and it ranges from 0 to 1. When 0 represents perfect equality and 1 represents perfect inequality. So I put this simple example. Assume that there are only 100 students in our society, and these students have 1 baht per person. This society is perfect equality, right? Because everybody has only 1 baht. And global asset is only 100 baht, shared by 100 students with 1 baht. And if we put those students, student number 1 to 100 here, and we add each, starting from here, each student's asset, and plot those number here. So student number 1, up to student number 1, 1 baht, up to student 2 baht, and up to student 50 bahts. And then we each student number 100, total amount is 100. So in this case, the line will be on the green line. In this case, since we are going to measure this, in reality, I think we put, the people from less wealthy to wealthy on this line. And relatively poor people do not have much money. So in reality, lines goes like this way. And we have very rich people. Then those people have a lot of assets. So in reality, line goes like this. And this coefficient measures the area of gray areas divided by this triangular area. And this line, if line goes this way, highly unequal, then this coefficient becomes close to 1. But at equal society, as I mentioned in the first case of 100 students, this curve will become on this green line. Then gray area disappears. Then coefficient becomes 0. So that's the way how we, with this Gini coefficient, we can measure the inequality. And based on the Gini coefficient, this is the map, world map. Each country's Gini coefficients. Darker color means the number close to 1. And lighter color indicates the Gini coefficient, which is close to 0. And as you can see, this is African continent. Especially these countries in sub-Saharan Africa, Gini coefficient tend to be very high, very dark. And European countries, and also, in Asia, Japan, Korea, and Australia tend to be in a lighter color. Thailand is also, no, this is not Thailand, this is Burma, but Thailand is in orange color. And in Latin America, we have darker colors, meaning that income inequality is higher. This is the United States. Color is relatively darker, meaning that income distribution in America, United States, is not so equally distributed. So that's the global competition image of the income distribution. And this is a Gini coefficient of Asian countries, 29 Asian countries. And Philippines, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, these are the top 3 countries where Gini coefficient is higher, meaning income inequality is higher. And Kazakhstan is the country with lowest Gini coefficient. So meaning that in Kazakhstan, income distribution is not so unequal, meaning relatively well balanced. This is a very relative number, so we can say that the Kazakhstan's Gini coefficient is lower, meaning that relatively their income distribution is fair. And Thailand's locates here. Thailand's Gini coefficient is 0.356%. So, and orange color is Asia Pacific's average. So Thailand's Gini coefficient is close to Asia's average. And this light blue indicates the Gini coefficient in 2009, and blue bar indicates the Gini coefficient in 2019. So during the past 10 years, Thailand was able to reduce Gini coefficient from 0.4 to 0.356. So meaning that Thailand has been able to reduce this income inequality since 2009. That's a reading from this graph. Although Thailand's number seems close to the average of Asian countries, Thailand still needed to work on improve income inequalities so that we can have a balanced society. Okay, let me briefly explain about the strategies for poverty alleviation and reducing inequality. This is called wealth pyramid for a certain country. horizontal line is population, and vertical direction is wealth. And we will put, for instance, number one wealthiest people on left-hand side here, and plot his asset size. And number two wealthiest people on the right-hand side, and plot his wealth size. And then assume that we have 100 people in this country. The poorest persons will come here, and we plot his asset number here, and number 9 people's will be here, and plot his asset size. Then we can come up with such triangle shape, pyramid shape, by such allocation or positioning of the people. And this is the pyramid of the world. And as you can see, and also we have already looked at those super wealthy people's ranking from the Forbes magazine. And as you can see from this pyramid, this is a very strange shape of the pyramid. This part looks very, pyramid with wider base. But if we come to this, part, again, this is like TV tower on the top of the pyramid, meaning that we have a very limited number of people in this world. They are extremely rich, and those extremely rich people's numbers are quite limited. I think that's the reality. Okay, so under this circumstance, we have to work on both reducing poverty and also reducing inequality, because these two are two major development agenda in our international community. Let me explain this, conceptual chart, so that diagrams, so that I can explain the different approach both on poverty alleviation and reducing inequality. Let me start with poverty alleviation part. So as I explained, this is a wealth pyramid. And as for the poverty reduction, poverty alleviation endeavor, we have to work on, we have to improve the economic well-being and living condition of the people in poverty. So in this pyramid, we have two parts who are in poverty. We set poverty line, borderline, and we call this part of the people are in poverty. And the aim of our policy is to improve well-being and living condition of these peoples. That's the target population that we are going to work for poverty reduction. Next slide on poverty alleviation. Then how do we measure? As I explained, we will apply poverty rate to measure the poverty situation. And scope is since poor people needs immediate support in order to provide assistance, we have to aim immediate and direct impact to those poor people, because they do not have much financial resources unless we provide immediate assistance with immediate impact. Those poor people may not be able to survive in a difficult cases, in a difficult circumstances. That's the type of scope and measurement we will apply for poverty alleviation. The third slide is specific programs we provide for poverty alleviation. So in case of poverty alleviation, we have a programs such as cash transfer or food support. Cash transfer means government provides cash to those poor families. And also government can provide unemployment insurance and also health insurance, because when they lost jobs, they need immediate support. So we need to provide such an unemployment insurance for those people. And also we should provide health insurance. When they become sick, they would lose incomes. Then government should have a system to cover their medical costs. So these are the programs, how government support when we tackle the poverty alleviation. Let me go back to the slide in order to compare the policy between poverty alleviation and reducing inequality. And in case of the reducing inequality, primary goal is to addressing the equal distribution of income across the entire population. So in case of the reducing inequality, we have had to focus entire population. This is very clear distinction. The focus in case of the poverty alleviation, we only focus on the population in poverty. But in the case of reducing inequality, we have to deal with the entire population. That's the one difference. And next difference is measurement and scope. Yeah, as I can explain, in case of the poverty alleviation, we use poverty rate. But in the case of income inequality, we use Gini coefficient. And in case of the reducing inequality, we will aim to change structural and also systemic factors. Yeah, maybe I can explain more specifically by comparing the programs and time frames. So in the case of reducing inequality, we deal with the entire society, and for such case, we use tax system to redistribute incomes. So government collect tax from the entire population, and by providing government services, government can redistribute the income among entire populations. And most notable program is called progressive income tax, where those who earn higher income, they are supposed to pay higher tax ratio. That way, we can channel the surplus earned by income earned by higher income people to lower income populations. And also for lower part of the pyramid, government often set rules to ensure the upward mobility in this pyramid. So by applying fair wage practice and providing equal education opportunities and so on, so that the population in this area can move up. Well, in this case, horizontally, from this side go to right-hand side. From this side, they need to have a opportunity to go up. Well, to left to the to go to the left-hand side. So that way, by applying a tax system and also ensuring this upward mobility, income-wise upward mobility, we are able to achieve correcting this income inequality in our society. And as for the time framework, where in the case of poverty alleviation, governments or society needs to provide the assistance on a short-term basis to support poor populations. In the case of reducing inequality, we can take more time, and we can make this process a gradual process, so that we can gradually change this income inequality in the society. So these are the three slides which try to indicate the difference between the policies to support both poverty alleviation and reduce inequality. I also put some technical notes on cash transfer and progressive income tax for your further study. And just briefly, cash transfer, there are two kinds: conditional cash transfer and unconditional cash transfer. Unconditional cash transfer meaning without imposing any conditions, those poor people can receive money. But in the case of conditional transfer, they ask the recipient family to achieve some conditions, such as sending their children certain percentage of the school days and so on. And that way, if such families can send their children more often to the school, they are eligible to receive money. That way, government can provide some condition and try to improve the poor families' social conditions. And that way, in the long run, government is expecting those poor families can escape from such group going forward. Now, that's the approach of the cash transfer. And this is a technical note on progressive income tax in Thailand. And I think most of you know that this progressive tax system in Thailand. And as you go up this bracket, when you can earn more annual income, you are supposed to pay more tax. This way, we can reduce income inequality in our society in a long-term basis. So this is one example. So let me close my presentation. So today we are able to talk about both poverty alleviation and poverty inequality. These two are two major development agenda, as I explained in the first presentation. And in my next presentation, I am going to explain about global health issues and also governance and institutional capacity. And finally, I would like to explain regional cooperation and integration in my last presentation. So thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any questions, please send me a message or comment so that we can stimulate our discussion going forward. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, teacher Yasushi,
Thank you.
for special lecture today. See you again next week, Friday.
Okay. Thank you so much.
17th at
17th.
1:30 p.m.
Okay, same time.